Live. Hello, welcome
Hello.
to episode.
It is alive. But what is alive? Sorry.
It's alive. This stream is alive. This stream is alive. Okay, so my name is Ming. This is New Year Eve episode of DevKami. Why? Because we have no life, mostly. So I'm Ming. We have Tristan.
I am Tristan,
I'm
and we have
Sean.
Chi Leong,
What's
Sean,
with the-
and we have our guest, Liana,
Yes.
who is playing some background music, I think.
Yes.
No, I'm not.
Okay, Sean.
Oh.
Sean, the one.
So we're going to introduce Liana a bit more later. Today we have two things actually. First is we're going to do interview with Liana and what she do and all that. She's very interesting character. Then we try to cram the second half, or rather the last quarter of the show, to predict the future for 2021.
We're gonna wear spandex next year.
We're not going to do that. Meetups, we're going to buy you Tentare.
Oh, that's nice.
So, yes. So that being said, let's start with our bus corner. Let's start with our events. Actually, let's start with our events.
Let me guess, no event.
Actually, we do have one.
Ruby.
The Ruby meetups are supposed to happen unless
Yes, it is
Yeah,
happening.
I saw the calendar invite today. It was, I will have to give it to the Ruby folks.
I do not know who the hell put Linux renewal for $80. I figured that out later.
What is that?
What's going on?
Do you have to pay for your Linux?
Fun story, I recently go for a job interview where people pay for a Linux subscription.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
that's for the support, right?
Yeah, correct. It's support plus some technology, so it's not you buy Linux and you get things. Yeah,
And it's definitely not $80.
no, it's definitely not that. It's per server and all that. But let's move on, because if I say anything more, I might not get the job for the first place.
Oh, you know the founder's name, right? Linux.
Not really.
He's a
Never mind.
Danish guy.
Oh, yeah. So the first, okay, we had quite a few topics today, but I'm going to limit to the two interesting ones to save time. The first one is Linux 5.1 introduced static code for prevent speculative executive attack. This is the Spectre attack last time. So the new patch will actually help make it
More
so it will
secure.
help mitigate the problem. Mitigate the problem. So yeah, it's a complicated problem. The Linux kernel will try to do that lah. So you want to know more? Go to DevKami 115 with the links inside. And the next one is somewhat more interesting.
What do you
so
put
somebody
What's going on?
who put this? Is
I'm the one. I'm the one that shared this, but this is not supposed to be on bus.
Yeah,
Okay, let's talk about it.
So love scam is actually a real problem for a while. It's if you go to Malaysia,
Yeah,
in
but
Malaysia we have always an MCA case of a love scam.
Love
so
what?
later we cover both gender.
Scam.
but
Scam.
this AI friendly thing is actually not. It's actually not a love scam. It's just an omnipresent AI assistant that's coincidentally use a female voice.
Yeah.
Is it like
Oh,
her?
so-
Like the show?
Yeah, probably. So this is not just like a chat. This is actually it's like a Vocaloid with
Yeah.
AI thing. Oh,
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Oh, there's a face. Okay.
I read wrongly. I thought this is a love
Oh,
scam.
wow.
It's my
No,
fault.
this is not. No, this is not a love scam.
This is an actual AI for loneliness.
And I got a really interesting question. Is there a male equivalent of this AI?
For female.
Yes.
Yeah. Or
And I
yeah.
think
well, actually, the better question there is, will there be a market for it? And maybe Liana can quickly tell us, like,
Oh, yes.
would you spend money to talk to an AI that has like a really nice voice and understands you and you just talk to that AI.
I'll give my comments
Okay.
when we have the segment for me.
Okay.
So I think we got quite a few topics. We got quite a few things.
And Xiao Ice is actually a product from Microsoft.
Really?
Yes, you just scroll down the article. There's Microsoft all around the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is this their replacement for Cortana? Like Cortana basically flopped, and so
Not
they're
really.
pivoting to.
It's
like instead of helping with your computer, we'll help you with your love life.
Yeah. Well,
Hi.
There was a chatbot
you know
because it was too racist, right?
Oh really?
Oh yeah. That one is called, I don't remember the name, but the experiment to have social media.
But this Xiao Ice is actually positioned to be a persona. So remember, I remember like Square Enix, they tried to do that as well back then. A few companies that try to create their own virtual persona. Yeah.
So final one.
That's definitely trending.
It's easy for you to add personality to things.
What is that book that streaming has just showed us? Enchanted objects.
Yes.
Hey now.
Stop there. I'm done. So let's move on. So Liana, let's introduce yourself. I'm going to center you somehow.
You're going to what?
Solo.
Center.
I'm gonna. What do you hate looking at yourself?
That's so weird.
Somewhere, how do I? Yeah.
There. Okay, that works. There.
Okay.
So let's introduce yourself.
Hey, why is my head like the? Like now I'm. What is this?
Wow, look at that! Look at that, Jason! Wow. I can't.
You get to wear the mascot, the DevKami mascot. Okay. I'll introduce myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think assuming first introduce me, he said I'm quite an interesting character. So I'm wondering what interesting means there.
So go on.
Okay lah, but professionally right now, what I'm doing right for a living is that I'm Chief Product Officer and co-founder of Pollen. We started out as a reseller service for brands to allow people to earn side income. But since COVID happened, since March, we are forced in the last, I think, 6 months to pivot and figure out a more sustainable way to make for the business to take off. Right, we're not relying a lot on funding because we want to be very careful with the investment that we use, the money that we use to get things up and running. So we've done a series of experiments. I would say this would be I've overseen like maybe, if I correctly say, it's probably fifth MVP. Fifth MVP in the entire 3 years. We started way back in 2018. We had a different business model then. Then we stumbled into reseller as service because that's what the FMCG wants, the brands wants, because they always are looking for a new distribution channel and a way to make it more, inclusive as part of the ecosystem where they want to engage their fans who are consumers of their products to help them resell to the networks. Well, I don't want to go into the whole MLM stuff, but basically, I think what I believe is that the thesis we had was that we want to innovate, but by not changing the system entirely, but by looking at what is happening, by observing the data for what it is, and what the brands are most likely to adopt in the current time frame of the market, and to see if we can create something, a new business model together out of it. So we were quite successful, except that we realized that the business model was going to take a long time. It requires a lot of funding. Any technology venture, nowadays, if you have a proprietary technology, you kind of have a roadmap where you need to plan out your financial runway. So what we did was it lasted us quite a bit. We were able to last for I think 1.5, 2, and we're making some revenue actually, even with the earlier business model, earlier product. That was like the third MVP. I was like saying. So when I mean MVP, it's fully complete. It's already complete. So we had an early prototype, and before prototype, we had like PowerPoint and very simple things, working business model. But anyway, before I jump into the details of what we do, but I wanted to introduce Pollen and why it has become quite a integral part of my life the past 2 years as chief product, because it's where I see the intersection of software development, market trends, as well as new business model creation, new value creation. So I think being a chief product is where I finally stepped out from being just a developer. I started out as a front-end developer. The last time I did full time was with an agency. I was the, for the performance marketing ecosystem, where we help to actually relay the ads into the system, right? We create scripts, a script to make sure that the ads actually have all the, taggings and, the creatives, the banners, they are laid out correctly and all the stuff. So if for front end, I mean, of course, I dabble a bit in websites, making websites, charging for it. My technology journey, basically, before I became a chief product, was that there were quite a few different things. I wouldn't imagine I would end up as a chief product. But essentially, it all started because I wanted to learn how software are made. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
How software is made.
So
Yeah.
you actually start from coder to product person and all that. So what's the difference? Actually?
Yeah.
How the
Pretty much.
pretty much.
What is the difference?
Yeah.
Well, okay. When you are a part of the team that is making the experience, I first started out making a part of the experience. So I'm part of a team that deliver a task part of the experience. I cannot really see the product in its entirety. And also, it at that time, the industry that I was becoming I was coding in, I was also developing in. It was very much different, but somehow I realized I've always stuck in the world of marketing and advertising. Sort of business, you call it business marketing automation software, B2B enterprise software, the loyalty and digital space. It was a natural progression from where I started out. It was the Possible Worldwide, right, which is a digital agency. And then, from there, I realized that, there's a problem there. They're not seeing the opportunity. And I think the next leap would be all your email marketing automation, email client sort of software. So I didn't really see when I first started out, yes, I'm a piece of something of project, but I don't know that project is part of a product or experiences that's being sold by the agency. But when I realized that, hey, our client is using some slow, system, like before we had the Facebook ad system, we had like DoubleClick, we had like something else. What is it called again? Microsoft Atlas, yes. So it's really, really old and archaic in legacy. And I know retrieving data from there was really slow. I was just doing my thing, but then I saw my friends on the media team, they were struggling to retrieve the reports. It was taking them, I think, 2 weeks just to retrieve reports so that they can actually draft their performance marketing media buy strategy. I was like, why do you take 2 weeks when media buy, it's happening live with your clicks and impressions are really happening live. So it turns out that there wasn't a way. It was not real time. And then the whole data cleaning and cleansing thing is like really messy. So I was like, there's got to be a better way of that. But I don't have a solution then. And I was just a nobody. I was just an entry-level person in that agency. So if you work in an agency, you need to have 5 years, 7 years before you climb up the ladder to become a director, and you can propose changes or what software vendors you work with. So to me, that was really frustrating because I saw that our client is paying a lot of money, like, they have a million or multi-million-dollar budget, advertising budget, but it's the same thing. And they don't have any transparency to why they're putting so much money, let's say, with this publisher versus the other publisher, right? And they're not making these changes in real time, in weekly, quarterly. We're talking about a yearly plan decided too late. So we're just wasting money, right?
Mhm.
So, and then from there, I think what I saw was that, oh, the ecosystem is much bigger. I don't want to be part of just a project. What if I could join a company that makes a software that's going to dictate the future of this industry? Yeah.
Mhm.
So
But
what happened? Yeah, go on. You have a
No, you
question?
yeah,
mentioned
but
that you had a sorry. I have a question on because you mentioned you had like five pivots that you had to do. So
Oh, not five
like
pivots. Only two pivots, I would say.
two pivots and then like multiple MVPs on that. Like
Yes,
how
that's right.
like as chief product, were you the one who's decided this is not going the way it's supposed to be, or was that
Uh-huh.
from from the investors? Was that from as a company as a whole, from the CEO? Like how what was the point of saying we need to pivot, we need to change things, and how was that measured?
Okay, very good. That's a very good question. I think every developer, even engineers, different stakeholders are involved in a software development project should know what the process looks like, right? So for me as a chief product, I do have someone that I report to, which is the CEO and the
Mhm.
investors, as well as the customers, the clients, right? Managing this all the stakeholders and getting feedback, getting data, for me getting data like a new development in terms of the client's behavior, in terms of the clients, what they would prefer in terms of making those judgment about what would actually be the thing that they really need versus what they want, because often your client they're not going to tell you what they want, right? It's
Mhm.
like the case of the modern transportation, right? If you ask people what they want, they say, oh, I just want a faster horse. But of course, somebody else invented the car, and that proves to be faster and more economical, more efficient, and much cleaner for the environment. So making that judgment is really hard without data. I guess say you're kind of groping the dark. So you need multiple data points, and ultimately the decision maker, like as a chief product, you do have influence. Of course, you would check in with your developers and always having to communicate and really telling them, why this direction is critical. We're not talking about big changes suddenly over time, but it's more of like incremental changes, and before you know it, those incremental changes, small changes, actually is going to turn us a corner. And how
Mhm.
we decide we realize that we need to turn a corner, it's when the point where we reach a point where hopes we cannot make any more small adjustments anymore, because this direction is not going to take us to where we're going to get the company uh, monetizable, meaning
Mhm.
not funded. So thankfully, I think our investors were very much hands off. They give feedback, but their kind of feedback is to help shape the direction of the business, but not so much in the direction of the product. I guess we have quite free play in terms of the product, like what we decide the shape would take place, but we don't. They don't decide the carvings. So let's say you're making a
Mhm.
sculpture, right? So you don't the investors and the CEO, they don't decide the carvings. So a lot of software development is actually, when it comes to the feature, before we decide what the skeleton is already, a lot of it is just creating a functional and the what it does naturally. At the end goal, we have to make clear that, okay, what we want to do is we really want to serve our clients, and the clients right now has this problem of always having stocks that they cannot sell.
Mhm.
So in the earlier iteration of MVP, what we have is that, okay, we need to distribute these stocks that they need to sell to more people who are willing to sign up on the app, and then help them resell through their word of mouth using the mobile app. But it has become to a point where when COVID happened, oh no, there's a lot of excess bulk stocks. We cannot use this small little people to help us sell because of two reasons. One, the CEO says investor wants a quick win. And then we also look at our runway. We realize that if we go on where we go on, we're going to need to spend not only on further development to maintain the system, we also would have to make sure that we have long runway to do all the innovations that we want to do, and before we can get the next round of funding. So it was really a difficult decision, deciding between whether you want to be a business that from day one can really make a lot of money, although they tell
Mhm.
you, oh, never make a business model, never start a startup where you're making money from day one. But think
Mhm.
about it this way, right? you either lose money, investors' money, or you lose your own money and you lose your own time. So if you start a technology startup, at the end of the day, it's a business. So it has to drive value, it has to create value for the ecosystem. So might as well we start off on a good foundation where we know there's a clear need, and then there is also business potential you can scale. Because for the first earlier iteration of Pollen, what happens is that it's going to be like one of those big startups where you need a lot of funding in order to grow. Because individually, each of the brands, when each seller sells, the commission that we get is very small. For example, if someone sells a Dosata honey, a seller on Pollen, on our reseller program, part of Dosata honey program, each seller on average sells about I think $20 per month. It's quite a lot. But each transaction we only make $4. So imagine now we decided to pivot into a space where it's more selling excess bulk and talks. We work with larger FMCG brands. We're talking about crates and pallets. We are able to actually not 10x but 20x the earning per transaction. So that's a business metric that we also have to consider, right? Because because of COVID, even if not a COVID, I guess I think it's still a blessing that we decided to move into a space that's has far more potential, and it's more lucrative to start out with. Because when we look at the resellers, they have multiple channels still. They still have retail channel, they have other channels. So us creating something new and novel, actually, in fact, a lot of our clients told us that you guys are genius. I wish that you would carry on. Could we pay a white label? Because they're begging us, telling us, hey, can you come up with a business model so that we can pay money for you so you can keep the solution? But unfortunately, we cannot maintain two different products for a small startup, right? An early stage startup. It will cost money to maintain that system and also maintain this new B2B system that we have. And that's why I say now we have, I would say, two major pivots. One was targeted more smaller brands, helping them to find a new distribution channel, aggregating all the different reseller programs into one app. It has potential. Unfortunately, not in this COVID climate, because it's going to require a lot of funding, and a lot of investors are not looking to invest in such a climate. Everyone is like putting back and just watching who's going to be the first one to bet on you. Because once you get the very big person to invest in you, everybody else will follow. So
well, how about you, Liana? So we're talking about the pivot of Poland. How about Liana's pivot from coder to chief product? Like, how did you know that you're going to be you're ready for that?
Oh, well, the story of how I started, how I became a chief product. But sorry if I diverted a little bit. Why I became a chief product from being a mere part of the team is because I felt very close to the mission of the earlier Pollen. Why we started Pollen is because after working 5 years in the last software company where we help a lot of large brands like large telco, media, and also e-commerce brands with their digital loyalty, I realized we were giving out rewards, helping these brands, telco brands, to make their rewards more accessible, digitize their rewards program, and then it's event-driven, based on behavioral events. Every time you do something, you get positive reinforcements of why you should do more of that. When I look back, I realized that making that software, it was quite a small company. We had only I think initially we started, we had 12, and then we have 40 across the 4 markets. But the development team is still pretty much tight. So I was fortunate to be part of it, joining in and leading that pivot for that company, Gimme, because when they first started, they weren't making a lot of money. They were becoming a mobile rewards network, and when they come to Asia, they're not able to do very well.
You were already product for Gimme before you were a coder.
I was
okay.
Yeah, I was.
And so you were already
That's how I found out. That I realized that I have it in me to do product, to lead
So
product direction.
How
Yeah.
how did whoever hire you at Gimme figure out that you actually have what it takes? Because other coders might be interested in also maybe switching to a product. Like, how will they
Sure.
know? How did you figure it out yourself?
Like I said, I was very hungry. I was really curious when I was in agency. I realized I was part of project, but I was not part of product or value offerings of the company. Seeing the whole direction, shaping the whole direction of how the company actually makes money, because product actually is all about how the company monetize and able to exchange value. That's the main thing about being a product person, right? You have to create a product based on the user need and how you company can also exchange value and monetize.
You actually applied for Gimme as a product manager instead of
I did
as a
not.
coder.
I did not.
Okay,
I did
interesting.
not actually. It was just a random. It was at a networking. It was at E27. I was at E27 briefly. You know, the tech thing. I was a project manager there, and then I just wanted to try something different after the agency life. I just wanted to try something different. I thought, okay, take a break. I want to find out more about startup ecosystems.
It's a big leap of faith from.
Yeah. I mean, I worked in a startup before that at Quick, also doing product, but it was for a mobile video streaming service. And I had a minor role there at the startup in Silicon Valley. So I thought maybe I might want to explore more. And that's how I met my co-founder for the last company. And strangely, I told him, I said, I'm bored with my work. I say, what problem are you having? Because for me, I'm someone who if something really, really annoys me or frustrates me, I tend to share with people. I said, I think there's a better way to do this. I think, what if we could do this? What do you think? So and he was like, oh, why don't you come and see what we're doing at Gimme, and see how you can grow and scale that product, because he has a problem where he cannot scale the earnings. And I said, you need to retrofit that product into Asia market, Southeast Asia market. I think you're far too early, and you lost to your competitor in the US at that time was Kip. Was it Kip? Oh, Kip. Is it Kip? KIA, Brian Wong. So they were doing mobile rewards network, they call it rewards advertising. Yeah.
So that's actually how you actually move from project coder to project manager to being a project
Yeah,
person.
exactly. So when you have a bit of project experience, you realize that, hey, managing digital products and so forth, you realize that, okay, you get the high level view of why you do this project, right? Like I said, when we have a sculpture, moving from being one of the painter of the sculpture or being one of the cover of the sculpture, now you have a plan to see the entire sculpture. So this person is going to come here and paint, this person is going to come here and carve this thing or shape up this thing. So I find that really quite interesting to have a vision ahead that, okay, this product is supposed to do this, and this is how you're going to shape up, and this small little things you break out the features is going to help you achieve this, and as a whole this product is going to do this. So I think being able to see the big picture.
Yeah, you need to have, precisely. So guys, anyone have other questions before we move on? Okay, I know because I kind of promised Sean that today we'll do our prediction show. Maybe 10:45 or so, or 10:40 or so.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe one question lah.
Sure.
One question from me. When's your planned pivot to CEO then?
CEO. Okay, and that's also an excellent question. You know why? You're not the first person who asked me why maybe I should be a CEO.
After you can do everything, right?
No,
I'm not trying to boost whether my devs love me. Actually, what happened, in March was that it left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. With a point where we had to let go of some people, and that was really, really hard for me as a chief product. I think my team reasonably like me. I would say that. I feed them donuts every day. No, I'm just kidding. But really, I feed them food, and we have very good. As a manager, I think as a product person and the head of the product development team, I think I am more on the less micromanaging. I don't like to control. Sometimes I'm a bit lax where even my junior developers is like, oh, I would love more time with you. I want more mentorship. What do you think about this? And what do you think is the next trend in this thing? But unfortunately, I didn't have that. And it left me a sour state because abruptly when we need to pivot, that means we need to have a change in the skill sets and in the engineers that we need for the new direction. It's never easy. It's never easy. And because of this feeling, I'm just so afraid to actually be in the leadership position, which is even bigger than being chief product. Because imagine if you're being CEO, you're not just leading a product development team. You're going to be leading all the other teams, right? Everyone is basically under you, and you're one alone on top there. I don't know. I guess
You're
I have
not
quite
really
a bit.
alone.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
I guess
You
I
have
want to play to.
You still have the team.
I know I want to play to my strengths, right? I have to be really honest with myself. Am I really CEO material? Or am I more of like a creative, curious kind of person, like to make things? And I think that's my biggest strength. The CEO, maybe, I don't know, some other company, not that company.
Yeah. So you're also involved in some of the community things around. So anything that you want us to know about?
Or involved in the which community?
Uh,
The
yeah.
okay.
Something that you're willing to share. That's
Huh.
interesting.
You know what? The longest time I feel like, I mean, I come from Singapore tech ecosystem. I do understand that we have a bit of an a lead in terms of building the ecosystem first. It's like startup. I think Malaysia's not too far behind. You have great ecosystem leaders who have your interests at heart, and meaning is trying to develop ecosystem to support every way. Unfortunately, there are bigger policies, at the top where they are not able to attract all the tech companies from coming to Malaysia for some reasons, because the climate, the political climate, and also because, of course, Singaporean leaders always like to steal businesses first, right? So don't feel sad because Malaysia is leaders can't do anything, but really Singapore also have sneaky ways of attracting foreign investment. I may get into trouble for saying this, but I think I do know, because I do happen to come across different people who are involved in actually bringing these foreign direct investments, both from the Malaysia side and from the Singapore side. And when they sit on the table together, I realize Singapore is sneaky.
Sean
So
is,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry
Sean is
about
making
that.
some notes because I
Yeah.
think you have some plans, right? No?
Yeah.
I can't say anything about
I know the story. I know the reason, but it's not something that we can say in public.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
something
know.
that Sean can say in public.
But you guys have a lot of potential. I mean, I would say Malaysia is the real deal. It's just that set back by maybe, some leaders. Malaysia is the real deal. I mean, yeah.
The thing here is that we are very grassroots. We are reasonably
Yes.
grassroots.
Yeah.
We may not get the support. We may not get the big support, but we do have things happen. So it's like Jom Launch. I know you're in Jom Launch not too long ago. Those guys
Yeah.
are doing it on their own mostly.
Yeah.
Right? So you would thought that you would have an international. In Singapore, you may get suddenly international trade and whoever.
Yeah.
In.
We
German
hijacked
did
it.
not on their own.
It was Malacca
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. So John Lodge will essentially, yes, Izzuddin has his contact, but
Yeah.
it's mostly him and his small team of entrepreneurs that just want to do the right thing, right? So
Yeah.
which I respect that. So we had quite a number of those, which I totally respect. So
Yeah. Hey, but guys, I mean, don't give up, because Malaysia, you know what? At the end of the day, we've got
What do you feel like we are giving up?
no, we're having fun.
Giving up.
Put it this way, there's a reason why we do our
Yeah,
podcast.
we are fighting the another way around.
Yes.
Mostly by
Hey,
having fun.
yeah, you know what? You guys have land. Ultimately, when those big Chinese company comes to Singapore, if they need to expand, they need to build data centers. Singapore doesn't have space for that. So the overflow from that, it's gonna come to
Already
Malaysia.
happened.
Yes, it
Singapore
already
has been
happened.
digging underground.
Exactly. Exactly. Cannot.
So let's
digging underground or reclaiming some ocean space.
Oh, you know what?
Extension.
My team of developers, they were capable of shipping out very good, very good. I've seen them at the top performance. I was like, everyone's like, it's like, I don't know how we did it. We turn around and then within 6 months we launched something, and it's just waste because we have to people because of COVID. Otherwise we would still, be fine. Yeah.
Well, you'd be surprised actually that because people are like people are looking for extra income at the time of COVID. So it's really
Yeah.
just cracking that that correct model which everyone will flock to and which is not as risky. Like
Yeah.
everyone is looking for side income, and if you can, like if someone like a business can provide that,
Right.
like, and
I can go into
they'll make a
details,
killing.
but I promise I would write. I
Yeah.
would start a product medium blog. But I've been, like you see, I've been busy in between like one MVP to another MVP. I haven't found time to actually write. All I could write was my rantings on Facebook, which is just some streams of my consciousness. But to give it credit, right, really full credit, is to really write about the product journey and why we changed anything. So that can fully answer your question, Tristan, properly, what make us change the direction. And till today, I'm also a bit sour grapes, the fact that I cannot fight my CEO sometimes when he say that we really need to find a business model that can scale higher. But truly, now the direction that we are in, it's not a novel idea. The last one we had was actually a novel idea, and it's a lot more difficult to go to market because you need more money to do marketing and education. But this one is not a novel idea, just as difficult to build. But we managed to get it done within 2 months. But he has more business potential because the business model has been validated in the US many times over. It's just that a new small innovation for Southeast Asia, and then we see whether we can take it global from there. We already did because our first order was from Malaysia to US, so we really have cross-border. Yeah.
Well,
cargo.
last time we actually spoke face to face, we were talking about how difficult it is to hire people, software developers, and that was like what, like last year probably, or
Last year was
with it
that.
like, or like
Oh, yeah.
early in the year, right? Early in the year or last year or
Yeah.
something. Is it still difficult? Did you find it still difficult to hire developers during COVID?
Actually, no.
Or-
I think thanks to mixing around with you guys, attending your events, I meet some people, tell them about the problem I'm working on, and then it's easier that way. But of course, I'm not going to tell every developer to take the risk to join an early stage startup, especially my friends. So one of the developers ended up becoming, a close friend of mine. And when I had to let him choose something better versus taking a pay cut just to survive the COVID, right, last 6 months. So I made the choice to tell him, I think you deserve something better, and let him go. So it's not about the business anymore. I can't be selfish even though I'm co-founder, but more on treasuring the relationship and wanting to see the person spread his wings elsewhere. Girl, yeah.
So,
Well, have you had employees that you had to let go, but then eventually came back because
They do want to come back. We're just
when
waiting.
things get
Actually,
better,
we
right?
do. Actually, we have one person, from Philippines. He was so loyal. He was really loyal. He took a temporary part-time job in a cafe. He's really talented. He's an artist, a developer, and everything. So he took the last 6 months while we were, really tightening our belt, right? Just surviving on, some small revenues and also small angel funding. He volunteered to, hey guys, never mind. I'll just switch off to part-time, but keep me because I think what you guys are working on is really exciting. And I believe someday you guys will take off. This will take off. Then I told him, wow, that's really sweet. I think, and that's where I realized it pays to actually pay attention to people, to have a chat like normal people. Don't treat people like your workers. Like if it's their birthday, send them a card, handwritten card. Take them out to a team lunch because we try to have some semblance of culture, but it's not easy as an early stage because you don't have a lot of budget, right? And it's difficult because it's always crunch time. It's always like building this, but how do you strike a balance? So I often butt heads with my CEO, just trying to protect my devs. They see that quite a lot. If you know any of my devs, you can ask them. They see that quite a lot of me always going against and telling them, no, we have enough. We look at all the estimates and I realize that each person can only take these points for that week and don't add on. But of course, things happen, and I was like, this bug at the same time. And how do you handle bugs and building the feature at the same time? It's really stressful and it's really tiring. And at some point, they did overwork, so I had to give them like a break. But of course, business is not happy about that.
How
it's
much
not easy.
did you have, like, in shaping, let's say, the direction of the development stack? Let's say, like, more of the
I do
technical stuff. Because you
a
were a
lot,
coder before. So you have a
100%.
very okay. Even though you're just product, and because supposedly product people are supposed to just set the direction and let the
Usually,
developers do
yeah.
the thing, right?
I consider myself part technical. It's just that whatever I used to build with, it was in networking shortly with JOS. There was a whole stack of stuff, so I was doing a bit here and there. I try to keep up, but I think I'm quite an artist at heart. Like I love seeing things come together and piece together. So I learned to embrace my strength. I learned to embrace my strength. I know that I'm not the fastest coder out there or fastest developer, like catching bugs and all the stuff. But what I can do is to learn to leverage and lend my bigger vision and lend my empathy into the software development. So that has helped to bring people, to give people the kind of environment that they can, create, and they can also feel, if you're happy. So
Can
it
it
was quite good.
happen? Like can
Can
it
it
happen,
happen?
for example, that you put your foot down and say no JavaScript ever in this project? Like, will they
Um,
follow you?
Surprisingly, no one actually. Okay, ours was all JavaScript. In fact, today even the B2B now you look at Pollen.store, right? The stack right now is still pretty much JavaScript. It is. It's just that we shifted from React Native stuff. We don't do any more app development. We don't have any app right now. But we plan to keep the old product to see how we can fit it into the ecosystem of products that we can provide in the new product roadmap. We're still putting it there. We shifted the library though from we used to do what's that called? We were just using the someone suggested Vue.js before, but I didn't listen to the developer because he didn't stay. He said it's much faster, and I said, okay, no, we want to standardize everything. And then I told them, okay, we've already started with this, and then to change and then hand over. I know developers hate doing handover, especially you have to spend a bit of time to train the new person coming in who only knows this very well, and then you have to spend time to do this, and then you have to migrate the DB and whatever stuff. So people don't like that. So we try to keep to the same. But of course, I think the last time the stack that we had, React Native on the app was quite tricky. Everyone is still pretty new. Not everyone is so advanced with React Native. And then the state management stuff, it was really something that held us back because with our junior developers, they're not too keen to maintain the code base. So it was a lot of errors. And my senior guys are like, damn, I have to do extra work to just make sure I carry all the other stuff that the juniors can't. So when I see that, I realize that hey, this is when you take things into perspective. You ask yourself, it shouldn't be a blocker. You should go with what your team is best.
I think the decision for tech stack should be whatever that helps the team, not became a burden to the team.
Correct. But of course, we hire someone first, and then someone decided to leave. So we had one person who first we went with that, and he decided to leave, which on iFlix. So we brought in someone, the next best person, the senior person.
Look what happened to iFlix.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he left because my COO didn't.
No,
I didn't.
I have no idea what happened with iFlix. I'm actually living under the rock.
Oh, but I don't know. I thought they're doing so well. Got acquired by Chinese company.
I don't know what happened.
Meanwhile, I think we got 15 minutes. Let's start. So anything you want to add? Because I really want to
go
do the picture.
Never mind. I'm not sleepy.
Because what happened is,
let's do it until 6 a.m.
Okay.
We'll watch the fireworks together, and then we'll continue the interview later.
Okay.
Are there fireworks?
Yeah, they're gonna be.
Cloudy on my side. So
yeah, it's hard. We have people coming in. You cannot maintain. You see, and you want to train them, but they cannot get up to speed. So yeah, that's why somebody else has to take the load and us, and then we all learn together. But I realize it's impossible. Within the short time, we have to generate the output.
What's your advice for Sui Meng, who is going to be taking on a lead role eventually? So after being an individual contributor, he's going to be like more senior lead, so less of a contributor but more of a lead. What would your advice be? Because it's similar to your experience, right? From a coder to a chief product.
I would encourage, actually, I would highly encourage you to embark on the challenge, because sooner than later, because leadership is something that can be learned, can be taught, and you get better by practice. Because I won't say one team that you're leading, let's say if it turned out to be a bad experience, doesn't mean you'll be a bad leader for a different setting. Maybe there's some things with this team, some unique characteristics about this team, that if you're very observant, you can try to tailor your leadership without changing yourself to actually manage that team really well. And if you have very strong technical expertise, I think it's always good to be practice a bit of humility. Sometimes you can pretend like you don't know. Actually, you know. So that's what I did with my devs as well. I pretend like you don't know a lot of things. But why I do that is because I want to listen more instead of I tell them more. When they ask me, then I will actually go in and zoom in and tell them, okay, this is what I think, this is how we can do it. So I ask a lot of questions like, what do you think? Why do you think we need to do that? Like, I ask a lot more questions. So rather than tell them like, oh, commanding and authoritative. So I think being a leader is really about trying to have that beginner's eyes, also being very patient, exercising patience, exercising empathy, and tailoring your communication styles to people, not so much about yourself. It's about it's about your audience. It's about the person that you are trying to coach or mentor. If you are great in technical skills, even more better. It's just that your approach have to change, right? Instead of being a know-it-all, now you pretend like, okay, a bit humble, but giving people a chance to ask you the right questions so that you have the right opportunity and the right context to deliver your message. Yeah, so it will not be a huge blow, like you think like, oh, this leader he can do everything that he do. I think what ask me to do.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So
So speaking of know-it-all, we'll pretend to be know-it-alls in the next segment, right, Sui-Ming?
So we're going to try to predict the future.
Yeah, we are.
No, predict next year.
Yeah.
Not really too far ahead. Like what's gonna be the trends?
Correct.
What's gonna
yeah.
Let's do a recap. Like what actually?
That's actually a good.
What actually came this year?
Yeah. So what would be good is for Liana to be the judge, because she's also going to be predicting the thing, but because we're going a look back of what we did last year, we tried to predict what happened this year, and so Sui-Ming has a spreadsheet of the predictions and how close we are.
No, this is the spreadsheet because we didn't do it last year, so I think Sui-Ming prepared the spreadsheet so we can it make us credible for next year's.
Yes.
And then you'll join us for predicting next year.
Yes. Because
let's try it.
Last year we actually made a few predictions.
What did I say? Oh,
I don't remember for real, but I have a few highlights. That's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody anticipated COVID-19 as well.
Yeah. So one interesting one is Intel. We all make a prediction on Intel.
Really? Okay.
In 2019.
Do you have a spreadsheet, Sui-Ming? Do you want to show it? Oh, you don't have a spreadsheet. I thought you had a spreadsheet.
No, the spreadsheet is empty. It's for today's.
Oh, okay.
For today's.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So, oh man, I should share the link. I'm so sorry. One of the things that we predict last year is that somebody will dethrone Intel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's really what happened. We actually called it, but it's not actually because of Apple. Interestingly, we did not predict the rise of ARM. We are looking at what we're looking at is AMD actually. It's because of AMD. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why we think Intel are not as strong anymore. So that's one.
I'm actually surprised that AMD can push so much pressure on NVIDIA as well this year.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like NVIDIA been like panically pushing out like lower to middle ends cut like immediately almost.
Correct.
So
So
I think it's the scarcity. Like it's because they all are using the same like foundries, and so whoever like less quality silicon, which is usually on the lower end, is like available.
Oh,
the high
no.
quality silicon is not
I think
available.
NVIDIA switched over to TSMC in the midway.
Mm.
They were with Samsung, but
I see.
Samsung the yield for Samsung is not as
Yeah.
good. So
Well, unfortunately for NVIDIA, Apple has like the lion's share of TSMC foundry, so they're
Yeah.
going to be fighting with NVIDIA with Apple for
Apple's
foundry
pretty
space.
strong.
I'm actually really curious as what's gonna happen next year, because all these things actually like suddenly it's something that something boring and we take for granted for years, but suddenly there are new competitions.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Chip fabrication, who would have known, right?
What about sound? What about sound cards? Any new developments? Sound cards? I mean, I see some
So
low end.
your graphic cards already start doing. The graphic cards already taking over some of the tasks for sound card because they are that powerful.
Yeah,
So
like the
which is
RTX
why-
voice, which is really
Yeah.
nice.
No, you know, I saw the other day. No more Dolby sound surround. Now
Yeah.
you start to see HP with Bang Olufsen. I'm an audiophile, so I check out for systems with very good sound engineering. So Bang Olufsen in the HP, I was like, changed my mind about Mac, but I still love Mac. So
Yeah, so
I bought-
the battleground is not really the quality of like the DAC, the digital to analog converters. It's really the algorithms.
Yeah.
The like you have your aptX at lossless, like Apple goes with their AAC.
Yeah. I think
the codec
think what
is
it-
the battleground.
what's all the AI hardware is gonna contribute in is the compression ratio for
Mhm.
I
this
see.
for this sound, so
And-
you can
and-
push higher quality sound.
Mhm.
Yeah,
A lot of that as
Happy
well.
rate, not high quality.
Yeah, a lot of this is the AI stuff is also being used on compression for video, not just audio. Audio is like because it's relatively lower, so they don't have as much advances there. But on video, you have AI because you can predict, right? You can do prediction on what frame
Right.
will look like in the future, and so you
I
can
agree
actually
that
take
with
that into the
stuff.
codec. So
But so what's going to happen to Bose though if Bang Olufsen get a greater market share? Bose was created out of MIT Media Lab, right?
Yeah.
So you think the way they're writing the code is going to change? Now we're going to
So
have
we'll
better
see.
quality.
You might
On-
even disrupt them. I
Mm.
think.
Yeah.
I
And-
think the brands, the traditional high-end brands will still stay. I mean, that's because of our branding.
because of the
But
momentum, right? They have brand inertia, but you have people like Apple with their $500 earpods. Like it's not Bang Olufsen or Sennheiser or something, but they are there. They're almost there, and then they're doing their own technology. So
Wow, it's exciting. So you guys should actually shift from. Oh, you guys want to go into AI, huh? That's where
no, we're trying to be know-it-alls. Yeah, we're pretending to be
Know-it-alls.
know-it-alls. We don't actually don't know
We
anything.
do everything. We do everything.
Because the chips with the acceleration as hardware acceleration, it gonna make
Yeah.
things more interesting.
Talk about graphene and the hardware.
So my two
I
predictions
actually saw this thing coming like 20 years ago when I was doing my PhD. That
Wow.
chips are going to be more and more specialized because for my PhD, I actually did chip design. I actually designed specific application specific accelerators for certain things.
ASICs.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So you're Dr.
but-
Sean.
yes.
Yeah, he's
Well, you just
literally
call me
Dr. Sean. He's literally
That's why so many books.
he's literally Dr. Sean.
don't trust him
You used to
with
go
my
into your
CPR
PhD. How
now.
old are you? Unless you're a
I don't
genius.
trust Sean
You
with
did
my
your PhD at
CPR.
PP.
I said I look young. Then I have to thank my wife.
Yeah, you do. Actually, you do.
Okay, so let's move on because we got 15 minutes to predict, right? I'm going to move on a bit faster. The second
Okay.
one is Bluetooth will be more prominent in browser and all that. This is actually from Tristan.
Yeah.
Well,
It was not in the browser.
I would say Bluetooth is gonna be dead for browser because of this, especially from the COVID tracker thing, is that all these platforms are locking down on that due to the privacy reasons and things.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not gonna say
Bluetooth is going to be an issue there. Huge issue.
And especially you see like all the mobile platform are already locking down on the Bluetooth access. So if you let's say you're publishing an app with simultaneous GPS and Bluetooth access is already a no-no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
the
But there is
location
good
thing
reason
is
for it.
like actually if you need, so if you have an app and you need Bluetooth access, it actually shows up on the permissions as location sharing because you can
Right.
be tracked in your location, and so it becomes a problem for Bluetooth applications.
Yeah,
Um,
but there is
and I
absolutely
guess
good reason for that.
Mhm.
For
Yeah.
oh, okay, so that and the last one, there's more prominent one. That is actually for me. Is that there'll be alternative to Docker, Docker,
Small
and
computing.
for
Software
container.
development. Yeah.
Saying
I
that there's
actually
going to be
covered-
alternative to Docker is like saying, it's like ignoring the fact that Docker is an alternative of something else.
Yeah. Indeed.
Docker
no,
did not
no,
invent containerization.
Yes, but what really happened is Kubernetes are replacing Docker as the default.
No, it's actually Kubernetes gonna use they're not gonna use their adapter for Docker, but they're gonna use the standards, general standard API instead of
For
So-
Kubernetes.
Right.
Docker shim. Yeah.
So as a
It's
result,
all battle for market share, right? I mean, if you in the next one they come out, why is it always better, or it's just someone
No, I
sees
think this was a prediction by Swimming last year.
I
Yeah.
see.
what really happened is also that leads to things that getting interesting is because Docker needs money, so as a result, they actually cut down the.
They got some bad publicity over the years as well.
Yeah, correct.
especially last year, 2019 wasn't really good to them.
Yep.
Right.
So, and there's not much of a stuff. They actually invested on the wrong path. They tried to steer away and fight against Kubernetes with Docker Swarm. It's actually not that Docker Swarm is bad, but they did. I think they invested some resources and also did some bad policies. And also the CEO made some mistakes with public statements as well.
Oh yeah.
So-
CEOs. So who's the chief? I wonder if they have a chief, the CTO and the CEO had a quarrel or something. If not, would have saved the company.
Yeah, I
So
don't remember.
Swayman-
Really.
Was
Yeah.
that a hit or a miss? I don't know
That's
anymore.
that's a hit lah. That's a hit in the way that
Mm.
people will look at other alternative than Docker for containerization, and that already
I see.
exists for a while. So that's one. So let's we got 3 minutes plus. Let's start your own prediction. You put 2.
I honestly don't think Intel is going to push down their prices.
They are
Okay.
not. From the trend is that they are not.
They don't need
But
to.
Intel will
Yeah.
not go down lah. I know for sure Intel will not go down despite
They
what
never-
Apple did.
They're very aggressive.
So, Sean, are they going to do something like Xiaomi, where Xiaomi will retain Xiaomi, and then they have a new brand called Redmi, which is the lower end? So, is that what Intel going to do?
Intel already did that in the 60s, right?
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
So
previously there were memories provider,
Mhm.
Yeah.
manufacturer, not provider. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with Liana. I want to try what you want to see and what you hope to see for next year.
You know, it's probably not related to software development, but more on the hardware. I like to see more flexible screens using graphene. I think the graphene is ready. It's poised to emerge as one of the raw materials that's going to be part of the next generation of what I call digital screens.
Yeah.
So I made that prediction when I was in uni, because I was working on a project where it's called Wall RS for ACM, Assistant Computing Machinery. They had the Kai competition, computer-human interaction. So I designed a flexible screen where people can. It's virtually your very thin screens, flexible screen you can roll, and then you can actually mount it on the wall like a very flexible screen where you can load up your from your phone to the screen, so you can enlarge your phone into the thing. So it's like a wallpaper.
You can have more screen while you are looking at the screen.
Exactly. Portable flexible screens that you can load up like a wallpaper. Basically,
So
anywhere you go.
Anything else you want to add for your prediction? I'm going to add you that. If not, I'm going to move to the next person.
Yeah, move
Yeah.
on to the next person.
Let's go with
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Sean.
sure.
Let's just do one at a time. Yeah.
Let's predict next year.
Yeah.
Sean says Intel is not going to lower their prices.
Yeah.
That's not a prediction. That's a certainty.
Exactly.
No, you can already see from the trend.
9%.
Predict something.
More RISC-V products coming out next year.
Oh, okay. I like
More
that.
what?
I like to see
More what?
that.
This five.
Yeah.
It's an architecture.
Yeah. And it already happened, but it's not as much. Some
Next year will be more lah. You'll see the sudden jump.
Correct. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So Swimming is just going to steal all the other.
So we agree.
And then you just summarize. Yeah, all the
The
above.
price, I think the price of lithium will go up as Tesla is going to produce more and more, rely more and more on lithium. I know that's a bit far off, but
Tristan, predict the future.
I think AR, augmented reality, instead of screens, I think AR is like the thing.
Go.
So there was a backlash on Google Glasses before because of
Yeah.
the privacy thing, because it had a camera and
Uh-huh.
etc. But I
Yeah.
think the beaming of the information direct to the eyeballs, I think that is the key part there. So
Actually,
that should be.
Actually, at the moment, there are companies out there that are actually heavily selling glasses, just that they are for
Mhm.
industrial applications, not
Mhm.
consumer.
Yeah.
Because in industrial
Well,
application, you have a lot of clear case of
Yeah.
being able to see things.
and and people won't complain because you're all in the same
It's for
like,
work.
in the same how they call it, like in the same situation, right? Like it's not like you're in the train and then some people have Google Glasses, the others don't, and they're like, why are you looking at me, or are you looking at
You might-
whatever you're in their screen, right?
yeah.
But in industrial, everywhere you're expected that people are having that. But I think this is ripe for like consumerization, especially
might
with
as well
people
say-
working from home.
You might as well say bionic eyes. You know those contact lenses that can help you view the screen.
Well, yeah,
I saw
but
it.
the power source is a problem, I think, with contact lenses. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think we have.
And also, like it doesn't irritate your eyes.
Yeah.
So
The
Uh-huh.
materials.
Yeah.
What about transhumanism? Transhumanism, where you embed chips into your hand. I think more and more, like in the medical space for treating diabetics, tripping stuff, they start to
Mhm.
sew like circuits into your thing just to track your
Yeah.
illness, your condition. I think that's already underway. I don't know if you see more rapid application of that.
Julian, let's predict next year.
Mine will be something that really close. Is that I think there will be innovation in vaccine delivery.
Okay.
It's definitely
Makes
because
sense.
the current way of doing that doesn't scale.
Yeah.
But what's the current way, like, with the needles? You mean?
With a needle, yeah.
Okay.
Take it out, measure your dosage, because right now is that because of the outages of everything is in shortage, including the capsule. So like you have to do the measurement and everything. So I'm not sure whether it's something like that, but I want to say something with along the line of AI as well. But and also VR. I'm a believer in VR, but it seems like it's an abandoned. It's being abandoned in 2020. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how viable it is. But if I'm gonna put it, it's like a more portable VR. But it's gonna take some new innovative because the Oculus is due to some policy from Facebook is that people are jumping ship. So there's a need for an alternative.
Yeah, the thing about Oculus is an entertainment device. It's not really for. It's not like. It's for like productivity, right? You don't do your work on an Oculus. You play on an Oculus, or you entertain yourself in an Oculus.
Right.
So, which is why I don't think it's a big issue with Facebook, because Facebook is usually an entertainment stuff. But there will. But I agree with the VR portability. If it becomes more for like productivity.
Because since it's something that is proven by the Quest. So, but let's see whether somebody can come up with something compete along the line of that.
Yeah.
You mean like you're tackling the mass delivery of the vaccines to people, to areas where it cannot dispatch easily?
Delivery of vaccines through AR, I think, is
AR?
the thing. No,
How's
just
it
not.
Artificial vaccines.
Placebo.
Virtual vaccines.
So,
A fake one. There you go.
hey,
a vaccine
self-driving
that you can.
cars, self-driving cars, right? I think. What about VR for the VR vision for the self-driving cars, like the AI, the robot that's operating the self-driving cars? Like they have to see the path, right? So I don't know. You see, like a combination of different technologies for self-driving, autonomous vehicles.
Okay.
I
I
have
don't know.
nothing to say about that.
We are
I
supposed
think
to
we'll
pretend
be
like we
caught
know
by the
everything,
police.
you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, the police will like summon you.
But wait,
For being
something
distracted.
the one silver lining from the the recent KJ issue with the pothole, right? I hope they'll pressure the bodies to. I hope because of that the body the roadwork bodies will be pressured to be more vigilant. I mean, and also at
Just
finishing.
get
I
the
mean,
data from Waze.
yeah,
Yeah.
not just the data to fix the roads more
Yeah.
more diligently, and that will be open the path for the autonomous driving thing.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
know, I'm
Something like that.
surprised why we still haven't found an app called Pothole Simulator in this.
Because
I
it's
think
not a
it's
tech
true.
problem.
No,
I've been
People
saying,
need to simulate it.
Hey,
a government
we were
agency
talking-
actually collects a lot of data, but they are not using it.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
if you want to talk about data collection, they already have the data collected, but probably shelved somewhere that nobody has
they
access
don't know how
to.
to use it. They probably don't know how to use it and what to do with
They
it.
are- they
They
don't
don't want to
Possibilities.
use it.
They are
Yeah.
afraid to use it.
Should they just
I
like
see.
make it openly available to everyone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be your job to convince them.
If you can't use it,
Hey, but
we'll use it.
Yeah. Well, we talk about all this technology that has like seemingly, high tech, groundbreaking. Anything for humanity, anything that will help make human lives better or even environment better
So, which comes to what I
Predictions?
suggest.
after COVID.
So I suggest that vaccines should be selected through a lottery, and the most lottery in Malaysia is Toto.
Don't you mean?
So as a result,
So no, or do you want something like a Hunger Games where people fought for it?
it's quite logical in a way.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of
I
vacant
was thinking
stadiums.
drones to deliver to remote areas the vaccines.
No, not
Sean is like,
You need to see people first.
We need somebody to jab it.
yeah.
Correct.
Jared.
Not to mention they are really
Robot.
sensitive.
Correct.
Oh, robot. It should be one of those AI robots. We have vacuum robots, right? So we create a
I have
robot
one.
just
I just got one recently. I'm really impressed.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
indeed.
With a robot vacuum?
Yeah.
Hey, yours has a callback, like can come back to the place where it started.
Yeah,
Or is it
the one with a LiDAR is
Yeah.
impressive.
okay, so we had a few. Let's add one more or two more, Tristan, because everyone of us have something to add for next year.
I don't know. Let's talk a bit more, and then I'll think about something.
Okay,
I
but
got one to
add. I got one to add.
Go on.
I think we'll have
But
smart
it's nothing to do with
fridges. Smart
tech
fridge.
specifically. But I actually think that remote working is here to stay.
Okay.
Sean is going to win next year's recap.
Oh, I want to add to Sean's. That means we should go into the business of getting all the technology set up for the remote working at home.
It's already in there. So, like we already like. I mean, the saying is that the COVID situation is a forced digitization.
Yeah.
So before that, there's a lot of reluctance and excuses, but it seems especially those traditional company, for line of work that allows you to work from home, they are really happy with that. Like I know, like some big companies like IBM and Schlumberger, they just close off their office building to save on the cost. Yeah, they just close off. You just work permanently. Tell their stuff.
From home, yeah.
They found out, right? They discovered, we can actually save money by not people to go to the office.
I think co-working spaces are badly hit though, right? Co-working spaces.
I don't know, like the office downstairs, there's a co-working space. just below my office, and it's packed all the time. I have no idea.
I see. People like to socialize. Then you come for the coffee, maybe.
After COVID. Okay, I'm going to put that, Liana. This is yours,
But
Agree?
oh, yeah,
Let's-
You're not
definitely-
making so much money. I know you're not making. I mean, I cash out and not name which one, but I know.
But core working space never really make money.
Yeah,
But that's why the people that eventually just all the co-working space are owned by the real estate company themselves.
yeah, that's right. I said some people no try. What if they don't have a workspace at home? Like for me, my real space is actually my dressing table. I don't want to sit at the dining table.
Yes.
Yeah, well, people are adapting. Eventually,
There'll be more plastics manufactured in China that can help you.
Oh yes.
Buy more to improve.
So here's
Actually, online shopping will go up again.
Oh,
But
it's
still
already really active now.
yeah.
So here's a prediction. There will be a groundbreaking discovery of the nature of the reality.
What philosophically?
No, like
like
you know, I think this year was the
like
black
existence
hole.
is pain.
2020
Thing, right?
hindsight. It was the 2020 hindsight this year.
No, like
reality.
the I think this year was the black hole waves. Was that, or was that 2019? I forgot.
Wave.
Yeah,
Hey, but
so
what if
that's
next year's
like
worse?
a discovery, right?
Right.
Of the nature
yeah,
of
yeah.
reality, Suyumeng.
Yes,
Nature
yes.
of reality.
Okay, so black hole physics will lead to. It's not my area, but black hole physics will lead to more black hole.
Unfortunately, I think one downside for countries to handle the emergencies that I'm afraid some of the budgetary for scientific advancement and also discovery will be cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
We already see that for the certain department, healthcare department in Malaysia for the 20.
Yes.
I like Suyumeng's statement. Black hole physics will lead to more black holes. So that's what he said.
Because
That's
actually
nature.
know what's the minimum size. What's the minimum size?
Yeah.
Is there a size? The size matter?
I think
So
more
for
short.
black hole?
Yeah.
A lot of it are gravitational waves, and gravitational wave is interesting because dark matter, it can only be affected by gravity. So
But what's going to happen to examinations? Students.
exams
What's going to happen to them?
It will
They don't
be
have
no
to
longer
have that.
relevant.
Yes. No more exams.
no, they're gonna be still, but I think they'll cut out a lot of the useless examinations.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's going to be hard,
Yeah.
I mean, short term, trying to find.
I don't know. Like when I grew up, I had to do an exam during standard 3 and
Yeah.
6.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I think the
reasons
primary
that-
school does. I don't think we need that kind of examination for
Yeah.
primary school.
I'll take a look at some of the user comments as well. People who are commenting. Nicholas has
Oh.
mentioned that
I-
company making real dolls with AI. Maybe this is a prediction. This is predictions. Like there will be more.
Yes.
Oh, we
wanted to talk about the women.
the new massive the what do we call the Boston Dynamic, not massive Dynamic.
Oh,
Yeah, Boston
single?
Dynamics thing. Right?
Boston Dynamic, the dog gonna be used for vaccine delivery in rural areas.
Here's another prediction from Nicholas. Flexible screens will definitely become cheaper.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, so
I believe
you have more screen everywhere.
And your
Yeah.
link.
extension
Another
screen
one
extension.
is that autonomous cars. So apparently
Yeah.
Cyberjaya has a few things.
Like one rectangle, one square, right?
Yeah.
And
Cyberjaya.
Hussein says hello.
Hello.
One thing that I'm certain for next year is Hussein will do more work, more interesting work, because he already implemented a chatbot in Malay. Thank you. I want to use his project actually.
Yeah. So Hussein,
Chatbot.
all Hussein needs to do is contact a doll maker, put his chatbot inside the doll, and then he'll make a killing on like
Hussein, can I be a voiceover?
yeah,
Voiceover
artificial companion.
Hussein, can I be a voiceover? Not just chatbot lah. You have to record real human voice. I would be happy. Demand for voiceover artists for chatbots.
How do you know he's not gonna derive it from the recordings?
Yeah. It's the same way he listened to us, right? That's why.
Yeah, you're gonna download
pay you
this.
anything.
Yeah. Record yourself at least 2 hours.
Okay. Let's send email.
No, but there was a company that tried out like the artificial, not artificial companion, but remote companion, like where like even Apple has it, right? Like the watch thing where you have like the heartbeat thing, and then you have like sync. You feel the other person's heartbeat or whatever, because everyone is so remote, and you just need some sort of connection with another human being.
You mean I cannot lie about my feeling?
Yes, we need to hear voice.
This is bad for psychopath, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I forgot to mention one thing. You know, the rise of voice-based shopping, right? It's on the rise. It's going to be a trillion dollar industry. You know, your Siri, your Amazon, what was that? Alexa?
Yeah.
But a lot of companies have tried it and are actually not doing well. Like Cortana is dead. Like Cortana, Microsoft like kicked out Cortana. There's like a lot of jokes with Siri and Alexa. I think the only one that's, I don't know, actually, Sean, which one is the bit like making progress? Or like, is it Google Assistant?
If you ask me in terms of quality, obviously Google's one is the best lah.
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah. So far, Google is the only one. Yeah. So far, Google is the only one. That's
even my 2-year-old is able to talk to Google.
Yeah.
Wow. But I like the idea of being able to talk to the doll, real voice. Sorry.
Insane. See, you have like a customer request.
I'm not gonna type. I'm lazy. I mean the doll has a screen and I keep typing. No, you need a voice, not a real voice.
Okay, Simeng, do we have everyone's?
Yes, I have. I even have Nicholas one. So I have. Let's see. So let's review. So my three thing here is more hardware accelerator.
One. One version price.
And more competitive hardware.
Ain't happening.
This one is a joke, because vaccines are distributed through lottery, ideally. And one of the biggest lottery is Magnum and Toto. So I just put them together as one, guys.
The other flip side to this is you have no idea which vaccine you're getting. It's like
Well,
let's make it double blind and put it placebo.
Yeah. So next one from Diana is the future. For next year, we'll see more flexible screen oxygen device. Subject can be improved by sensor and all that. Call working speed might be reduced after COVID.
This is obvious.
Yeah. From Sean, we have more VSphere product. I totally agree. I want to see more. Remote working will be permanent. I'm still a bit mixed of that because we have a lot of dinosaur in Malaysia. But yes, let's put it there and see how it goes.
And Intel prices will remain. It's against your prediction, basically.
I think they're gonna remain until a while. It's not gonna be too urgent for them right now.
Yeah, and it's a good reason because Apple always do their own thing. So even Apple moved to ARM. Yes, it's a big chunk of money out, but they are not. Apple are not their only customer. So just remember that. So for a good reason. So from Tristan, AR will be a thing next year. Groundbreaking discovered reality. That's given. So.
Oh wait, plus. So I need a third one. So a rediscovery of Tamagotchi in the VR space.
It's already there.
What do you mean it's there? Are you actually able to take care of Tamagotchi in VR?
No, if you're on VR chat, you can do anything you want.
Hey, you know, there's another one called Digimon, right? Not the Tamagotchi, the dinosaur one. Yeah. Digimon, I love that thing. It's not Tamagotchi is the egg one. Digimon is the dinosaur one.
Who's Nick? Who's Nick?
Nicholas.
Oh, okay. Oh, Nicholas. I forgot. I forgot that. Do we have the 6?
So the one that he had is companionship robot. I try to put it in the family-friendly
Hey,
way.
that actually, I'll say that as well. Like intimacy, I'm gonna put to me is there's gonna be innovation in remote intimacy,
Okay.
because recently on Reddit and Hackers News is that the latest the butt plug library is just got released. Just got the 1.0
okay. You
release,
can do
and
npm install butt plug.
and it's developed in Rust.
Okay,
Rust?
cargo install, not butt plug.
Serious?
Then.
Okay,
Hey.
so cheaper
Yeah.
flexible screen, more autonomous car adoption in Malaysia. One way or another, either by testing or whatnot. So from Chilean, we have innovation vaccine delivery somehow. Will be more portable by more producer. Not just. Not
I don't
just
think it's gonna be happening because people are counting their losses right now.
correct.
It's a big investment. To
We
come
have the
out
whole
with
year
it.
next year.
I hope.
We'll see.
That'd be
I think
interesting.
VR hardly any take off. Since 1990s, there was already the early signs.
It's always 20 years.
I'm a believer after I tried the recent one. They are mature enough, but there's not enough serious take up. But also like Nvidia seems to drop it with the latest graphic cards line because used to be the one USB-C. They removed the USB-C connector. So
Yeah.
in a way, it seems like they are dropping off. And also like Nvidia no longer advertise VR capability. So it seems like they are dropping it. But
There's no
VR
killer
is
app.
there's no killer app for that. There's no something that compel people to get it.
Yeah, correct. The use case.
What, Beat
Maybe
Saber
the
is not
remote
enough for you?
intimacy part.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
How to
Probably
how-
it goes.
correct, right?
VR, remote intimacy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even VR.
Wow. So the engineers will have to be love expert lah when you design.
No,
the
you don't have to be
program.
love expert. You just need to be stimulus expert.
Yeah.
And you can use AI to do the rest. Machine learning.
Man,
Okay.
I mean, like you have to know the discipline,
Well,
right?
You have to just
No, it's
observe other people doing it, right?
Put it in part of the biometric thing is that you can be a stimulus, just probably a signal to give you high remote high. Sorry, he's getting.
Set up your nerve.
Femtech was supposed to be trending this year. Part of Femtech is actually all your, the sex toys, but I don't see anything big, coming out of Femtech. Femtech.
Because if you have problem maintaining your business, you won't have time or the mood to want to go for it. Yeah, I think probably next year when it goes back, hopefully it will be.
Normal.
I don't think it will
Alright.
be. I think 2021 we just to be like we are still figuring out lah. So this is just like 2020 is just the intro. If you want to really fix things like everything is stable and everything is gradually or we know how to recover, it's going to be 2022 onwards.
I predict 2025.
I think the one that's on our plate is changing faster than all this tech. The meat that we're eating. All those.
In a way, it's good. It's actually a forced revolution. And a good thing that it is not warfare that caused it. In a way, still people die, but less bloody. But not really. I cannot say it's not bloody, but it's actually still better than warfare.
If you eat fast food, then you're gonna run into one of those lab meats.
So I think we're predicting the future. So I think that's much it. So I put 50 ringgit on my bet. Okay, just kidding. That being said, I think are we done or do we have more?
Are we done? Yeah. Do you have anything more?
No, I think those are interesting predictions.
Yes. So with that said, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Enjoy yourself. Be careful. Don't blow up your house with a firework. You're not supposed to launch a firework anyway, according to the government. I'm not saying you should not do it. I'm saying that it's not legal to do it, and if you do it, I do not know. So put it this way, right? So I'm not encouraging you to do it. Put it this way.
Yeah.
So Happy New Year. I hope that 2021 will be a good year for every one of us. It's a mess for some. It's for quite a few. Well, we tech guys are mostly lucky. So only me got to take a 3-month holiday.
It's not. It's actually. It's lucky that we are still not hit as really hard, but it's actually not.
Yeah,
doesn't mean that we are not hit by it at all.
We are hit
No,
as
no,
well.
It's
crazy.
Yes, we are luckier. We are luckier.
Luckier.
Luckier,
So-
yes.
Luckier.
Industry is future oriented in a way.
Yes.
In a way. Yeah.
So I hope that in 2021, most of us will have better opportunity.
I need to predict something. I'm gonna predict swimming gonna get married next year.
Yes.
So, I'm
Sending you all
putting-
the luck. Sending you all the luck.
How do you know?
Anything can happen.
Yep.
Yep.
I think after 2020, anything is gonna happen. Can happen.
little thing have happened. So I hope you guys have a good 2021. So enjoy the fireworks and the countdown.
Sorry, but I'm not gonna have fun. Stay alive. Yeah, stay alive.
Yes,
Don't
Maintain
die.
social distance.
yes.
Yeah,
Maintain
like
social
us.
distance.
Yeah, like us.
And final one. May you guys manage to get your vaccine. Manage to get the good vaccine next year. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, bye. Like, share, subscribe, do everything. See you again next year.